Hare Krishna, this is Navneet and I welcome you to Vyasa Astro channel once again. The most important and the planet that will have lot of influence on your career is the topic today. And I will be showing you on my whiteboard. I will take one example as well. And I guarantee you that and once you go through your own chart, you'll be able to relate it. You see two things to understand this particular concept. The first thing is that we work in a form of Shakti or energy. Even if you look at any Shakti chakra or any yantra, it will always have, or even Devi yantras, they will always have triangles in there, right? So there's multiple triangles going up and going down. So like this, the straight triangles and the down triangles. The combination of these triangles make, Shakti yantras and Lakshmi yantras. So technically, the representation of Shakti is through a trikona, through a triangle, which you can easily research. The same principle applies to horoscopes. You see, this is a three-step process where you can step by step look at your chart and understand that, hey, this is the planet, this is the area of life. If I work and if I could, go towards that particular, aspect, I can be successful in my career. Now, the Karma Karaka, the Naisargik, when you look at Kal Purush horoscope, the planet which is associated with work is Shani Maharaj, Saturn, because in the Kalpurush Kundli, it is the natural 10th lord. Now, this formula is derived from this particular, first step. Any planet which is in the Shakti of Saturn. Now, I'll repeat, any planet which is within the Shakti of Saturn will have the maximum influence in your career, in your day to day work, and in earning money and establishing yourself professionally. So, when I say in Shakti of Saturn means trines to the Saturn or a planet sitting with the Saturn. And if there are no planets sitting with the Saturn, if there are no planets in trines to the Saturn, it's not a problem. There are other ways of understanding, your career and profession. This is one of the ways. And this is very, very powerful way. So suppose, you know, if you have Saturn in the Lagna, then either you check planets sitting with the Saturn in the Lagna, if there are, or go to the fifth house or to the ninth house. If Saturn is in the sixth house, then you need to check if there is a planet in the 10th house or the second house, means the trines to the Saturn. Now, where are we checking these planets? Number one, we are checking it the Lagna Kundli, which is D1, and we will also rush to D10, and we'll check it in the D10 chart as well, the Shamsha, which is a chart, used for deep dissection of your career. I have a full-fledged 10 videos, classes in my Jyotish Bhushan, almost 10 to 12 lectures on D10, where we make them proficient on various combinations, the bhavas, the drishtis, and so many other things. So check in the Lagna Kundli, check in the D10 chart also. If you want to stamp this rule that whatever you checked in the Lagna and in the D10, if you want to stamp it, go to the second house of Navamsha, second house of your D9 chart. Because there is a technique known as mapping of D1 to D9. और जब हम ये mapping करते हैं, when we do this mapping, the ninth house of the D1 maps to the Lagna of D9 and the 10th house of your D1 maps to the second house of D9. ये बात याद रखना. Just follow it. That whenever you're looking at career, always also check the second house of the D9 chart. Just this much. So, three principles that I've said. First, check planets sitting with the Saturn and to the trines of the Saturn in the Lagna Kundli as well as in the D10 chart. And also check the second house of your D9. And in the D9, if you have Saturn or any planets which is trine to the Saturn, or Saturn is in a place where D9, and the second house is in trine to that Saturn, that particular planet will also give you a lot of influence on your career. I'll give you an example. I'll share my own chart with you people right here. You see, when we look at this chart, Saturn is in the sixth house, right? And what exactly is in trine to the Saturn? So let me first highlight the trines of the Saturn. So the trines of the Saturn would be the sixth, the 10th house, and the second house. So this is the Shakti of Saturn in my horoscope. Now, the two planets that are very, very closely associated in these trines is one, very closely associated is Jupiter, and then we've got Ketu. Ketu is all about research and development, and Ketu in Uttarashada Nakshatra with invincible victory. And also Ketu further is having a drishti of Venus. It shows that, the career is all about research, development, and the highest influence in my career is going to be with Jupiter. Jupiter is Karka of law. Jupiter, and I'm teaching you laws, I'm teaching you principles, I'm teaching you protocols. And Jupiter is also Karka of teacher, of guru, of mathematics as well. You see, I'll tell you a lot of three differences that nobody tells you. You see, the biggest karka of financial working is not Mercury, it's Venus. So if you have Saturn Venus in your horoscope, or Saturn is associated with Venus through trines, then you will be into finances. It's not about, into movies, or it's not about into a cloth business or something. It's financial management, Saturn and Venus. Saturn and Moon can be where you can be an artist. You can be a doctor. You can be a healer. You can be an entertainer. You can be a singer. Saturn and Jupiter is teaching, Jyotisha. It is law. It is administration. It is leading from the front. Saturn and Sun is associated with government. And now it's not that you work with the government, but you can be associated. Even if I have this Saturn and Sun, suppose, then probably I'll be giving consultations to government institutions. I can be one of a teacher training in government, institutions. Or I would have someone at my home which is bringing a lot of money through government. You have to understand, Mercury is Karka of, it's not financial management, nor it is mathematics. Mercury is all about calculations. Mercury is all about problem solving ability. And that comes through software, artificial intelligence. I've seen people with Saturn and Mercury getting into problem solving, getting into areas where a lot of calculations are done on daily basis. That's what Saturn, Mercury can be together or in the trines. When you have Saturn, Mars, it is the yoga of having any technical studies and associations. Mars is going to make you an engineer. It's not about, working for defense. Mars is Karaka of these things, but when it goes with Saturn, maybe you will be in the defense, but working in the engineering department of the defense, in technical department of the defense. When you have Saturn, Ketu, It is one of the best yogas for spirituality and learning Jyotisha, because you will be associated with lot of research, dharma. I've seen, Ketu in trines to the Saturn or with the Saturn in the horoscopes of the people who've done great for spirituality, dharma, shastras, puranas, and they are extremely inclined towards Jyotisha. Go find out. They'll be highly spiritual people. Saturn Rahu people will be, if Rahu isn't trying to Saturn or with the Saturn, you'll find these people, they are very much tech savvy. They are into technology, they are into architecture, they're into the most modern technologies of the world. They'll be working on it. You see, this is how we understand. See, it's not about stamping your career that, hey, you are going to be in this career. It's about that this particular planet will have lot of influence on your career, lot of influence. And like the second step was just rush to the D10 chart and see what is happening to Saturn there, because the karaka of the D10 is Saturn, the natural significator of D10. And look what it says, in the story tells itself. So here is Saturn. So let me highlight the trines. In the trines, we've got nothing, but we have Jupiter and Mercury sitting with the Saturn. It's about calculations, teaching, and then Saturn is the karka of your work. It makes a beautiful Saraswati yoga here with Mercury and Jupiter that tells me it's in the second house of my tongue. I need to speak, I need to teach, I need to, give consultations to the people. And we know what? Whenever you have Jupiter in the second house, or you know, if Jupiter is aspecting the second house, you see, if the Jupiter aspects second house or it sits in the second house, if you say something, it will happen. That's the beauty of having Jupiter in the second house, because it is in the house of your Vani. It's your permanent asset. And if you say that, hey, you will go through this, or this will be something that will happen good to you. And that is why I keep saying Ashirvad and, Vijayi Bhav and, Yashasvi Bhav and all these things to all my students all the time. And I mean it. And the students have never failed in their life once they've joined Rudra Vedic Academy or they've been associated, or once, even on the YouTube messages, I keep on writing Ashirvad. I keep on writing stay blessed, you'll come out of this thing. And it happens. It 100% happens. That's the beauty of Jupiter association with the Dvitiya Bhava, the second house. And then the last step was to go back to the second house, because second house is very, very independent house in the D9 chart. You see, what mapping I was talking here was that your ninth house, because it's Navamsha, so the ninth house will match to the Lagna. The 10th house will map to the second house. The third house will map to the 11th house will map to the third house. The 12th house of your Lagna Kundli map to the fourth house. And then again, the Lagna of your Lagna Kundli maps to the fifth house. Second house would map to the sixth house. This is known as mapping technique. It's very powerful. We use it during consultations and it is super. Now, again, there's no planet in the second house, and it is also not in the trines. So, under those circumstances, we use the second house independently. There's no planet, but did you see something that there's Drishti of Jupiter in the second house and the Navamsha as well? Oh my God, did you see that? So Jupiter aspecting the second house here, Jupiter in the second house on the D10, Jupiter aspecting the second house of your Navmanch Kundli, and the Lord, the dispositor of the second house is Moon with the Rahu, gives me a lot of technology, lot of camera, like nourishment to the people, and is again aspected by Devaguru Brahaspati, where Devaguru Brahaspati is with Ketu making a Dvaj Yoga. This is how you start analyzing that what kind of career, the planet that influence the most. You can be lawyer with these combinations that I've shown you, but you'll be like a teacher, you'll be like a trainer. And there are several other techniques that stamps that, hey, this is what is going to be your career. You can be engineer, you can be, probably running a watch shop where you are, just repairing watches. But suddenly, when the dasha hits you, you get inclined towards learning Jyotisha. Maybe you own a bookshop and you were reading Jyotisha books, got inspired, and then you became, an astrologer, a teacher, a consultant. All these things are seen through several yogas, but this is one technique, which is out of so many techniques, which is very, very powerful. I'll be teaching you more techniques as well in the coming time, but this technique is something that I have seen it works, almost 300 charts that we worked, this is working. This is working, right? But there is possibility that you don't have any planets with Saturn or trines to Saturn, right? No problem. Then we'll shift to another technique, that we use. Till then, I'll come up with another video. Till then, Hare Krishna. बहुत बहुत आशीर्वाद आप सबको, बहुत बहुत प्यार. Thank you.